Good afternoon and welcome to Sparsholt College Group's apprenticeship question and answer session for parents. My name's Helen Mitchell and I'm the apprenticeship manager here at Sparsholt College Group. And with me today is one of my colleagues, James Clements, who is one of the apprenticeship liaison officers within the team. So welcome and thank you for joining. We are just going to run through a little bit of an agenda in the sense of we're going to run a student video in a moment, just while we wait for some others to join. We're then going to run through the top 3 questions that we're asked in relation to apprenticeships, mainly from parents and from potential students. And then we are also going to run a couple of videos from one of our employers and their apprentice, just so you can see what that looks like and give you the opportunity to submit questions of your own. So just for the moment, while we wait for some more people to join, we're just going to play the student video of our students talking about their experiences here at Sparsholt College Group. Run video.
I chose an apprenticeship for a way to get into a new career because I've been doing different jobs. I've been doing sort of bar work and care work, and this was a good way to get my foot in with the company and to get a load of qualifications in a quick amount of time.
I chose an apprenticeship because I like the idea of getting paid whilst learning, because I didn't really like the idea of going to a sixth form. I liked working outdoors. I've always been quite active, and I thought an apprenticeship was the best route for me to go down.
The best thing about being an apprentice is that you get to learn new skills. Every day is a new day and I get to learn different skills I'm probably not as confident about.
I think the best thing about being an apprentice is earning while you learn, so getting loads of hands-on experience at work, but also getting to come to college at the same time.
Favourite thing about my time at college? Meeting people with similar interests in what I do. Everyone's very supportive of each other because we're all trying to accomplish the same thing.
The best thing about my time at college is I quite enjoy the academic side of it, as well as having the, going into work and doing it physically. I do like learning about it as on top of actually doing the job itself. So having the theory underlay is quite important for me.
So I secured my job by having an interview for the student vet nurse position, and then the place I work already used Sparsholt as their training provider, so I was hooked up with the college through them.
And welcome back. So thank you for watching that video. So we're going to run in straight with the top 3 questions that we have from parents and students. So the first question is usually, can I apply for an apprenticeship without having a job? So the answer to that is yes. Anybody can apply for an apprenticeship at the outset. We're taking applications right now for autumn of 2025. And you can apply for the apprenticeship that you're considering. And then you can work with the team to agree a way forward in terms of any support you need in gaining employment. So linking to that is usually around, how can I gain employment? So James, did you want to answer that one?
Yeah, of course. The key thing to do is once you know what course you want to do and what apprenticeship you want to study, by all means apply, and then start doing some research, start looking around your sort of local areas to businesses that are possibly close to you and that you could feasibly and easily get to and cover. We interview everyone as well that applies. So when, as Helen said, when you come in for that interview, we'll be able to have a chat then, have a catch up, discuss the opportunities. Employers do approach us and want us to advertise, and we absolutely do. But it's always good for applicants to do their own research, look around there, and just see what is available and get the word out there that you're hoping to start an apprenticeship and what opportunities may be able to arise from it, really.
And also in terms of any job advertisements that we have for local business, they're live on our website. And also students can apply for jobs via the National Apprenticeship Service, which is the website that is available nationally for employers to advertise their vacancies for free. So that's always a good place to start in terms of looking for those jobs. Second question we get asked quite frequently is, are apprenticeships for school leavers and school leavers only? And the answer to that question is absolutely not. Apprenticeships are available for any age of individual over the age of 16, and that could be somebody looking to change career. It could be somebody that has a new post within their business and wants to be qualified and upskilled. So essentially, yeah, apprenticeships are for any age. I think, we have apprentices up to and in their 50s. So it's an optional route for lots of individuals. And that also sort of leads into another question that we get asked quite frequently, which is around, are apprenticeships for those that don't want to go to university? Are they for those individuals that possibly don't have the academic requirements that they wanted to achieve? And again, the answer is no, isn't it, James, in terms of taking on an apprenticeship and who they're for?
Yeah, absolutely. So, I mean, we work with a wide range of students that do really well their GCSE straight from school, students that have done like a year or two at college and maybe don't have their English or maths or yet as well. You will get a chance to retake it as part of the apprenticeship. And everyone's kind of different. Most people tend to go down the apprenticeship route because they are more practically minded. They like to be outside and working and covering it. But do bear in mind that there is also the college side of things, of where you are going to have to attend college. You are going to have to do some college work and probably some homework as well as part of it. But yeah, we get a huge range of students with varying abilities and varying GCSEs and prior qualifications. But the college is fantastic at helping and supporting learners all through that journey. Whether you have an EHCP or you have anything diagnosed, that's fine. We discuss all that at the interview as well. And we let you know what support can be put in place and what can be covered.
Thanks, James. And we started to offer now higher apprenticeships, which are those degree apprenticeships. And, there are entry requirements for those in terms of previous qualifications or maths and English. But we run apprenticeships from level 2, currently up to level 4, but we're looking up to level 7. So, we're interested in talking to all individuals of all levels, of all walks of life in terms of employment and non-employment, so that we can support people in that process to gain an apprenticeship if that's what they're after. So applying for the apprenticeship is the first thing to do through the apprenticeship team here at Sparsholt College Group. We'll then run through those interviews for those particular programmes, and then we'll support you as little or as much as you want us to in helping you find an employer placement to support that through the programme. So they're the top 3 questions. We're just going to run an employer video so you can see one of the golf clubs that we work with for our golf greenkeeping apprenticeship. And what that does is provide you with the opportunity to submit any questions in comments, and we'll answer those questions live on conclusion of the video. So have a think about what questions you'd like us to answer live here, and we'll run the employer video.
I'm Hasty, I'm golf course manager here at Knighton Heath Golf Club. Having Dan as an apprentice has been great. Sparsholt College have been hugely helpful to sort that process. It's been fantastic. Hopefully Daniel's been grateful for that and enjoyed that. He's certainly improved on the golf course. Don't class him as an apprentice anymore, to be perfectly honest. So he's been great, and Sparsholt have obviously worked well with him. We have quite an experienced team here at Knighton Heath. They've bought into it as well, which has been great to see. So they get to impart their knowledge back onto Dan, which is great. Having Daniel has really sort of boosted the whole team, I think. Daniel was sort of keen to be an apprentice. Sparsholt probably saw that as well, and they've given him absolutely everything that he's needed to get to where he is now. His lecturer has been great, fully supportive. I know Daniel does all sorts of stuff with all his classmates, which is great on a social side, but they've also been to some of the events for greenkeepers, which was organised by the college. They're already looking at what Daniel could potentially do in the future.
And thank you for coming back to us. Okay, so one of the questions that's been submitted online is how much do I get paid? James, you want to take that?
Yeah, absolutely. One? So the national minimum wage for apprentices at the moment is £6.40 an hour. That is the lowest that any employer can choose to pay you. That is actually also going to increase in 2 months' time when the budget is sort of done. So every year it sort of goes up in April with what the minimum is. So if you're looking to start, then it will increase from them. But employers will choose to pay whatever they like, and it does really vary from your employer, where you are, what you're doing, your age, your situation. Most of our employers are really good. They're only a fair few of them will pay the absolute minimum, but majority of them do pay above that. So yeah, £6.40 an hour is the minimum at the moment, but it is expected to go up, and it dependent on your employer and your situation. No doubt it will be more based on the role in the industry that you're entering. Great. So we have some other questions and comments coming in through now. So you mentioned about when will interviews commence for level 4. I'm going to assume, is that possibly assistant general farm worker, or is that countryside ranger? If you could let us know, and then we'll be able to sort of get back to you on what one you've applied for. Are the apprenticeship teams around to talk at any other events? Absolutely. We're available at every open day. We have an open day coming up, our last Saturday one on the 1st of March. And yeah, every open day we're there, and you can book on slots to come talk to us, but ultimately we are there to drop in as well. So do your tours, do go and look around all the curriculums, look at all the subject areas, and look at everything you need to, and then come back to us or drop in at any point in the apprenticeship room and have a chat with us about apprenticeships. But every open day we're there. We've got a few open evenings at Andover College campus taking place as well. I think that's this week. So yeah, go for it.
All right, Countryside Ranger level 4. So yeah, interviews start after February reading break. So we'll be talking sort of in the next couple of weeks, and that's really across the board in terms of a lot of the applications that we've had already. They start after February reading break. So we'll be in touch in terms of arranging that for your son.
Cool.
Okay, let's have a look. What else have we got in? So if there isn't apprenticeships locally, do they require someone who can drive? And then also coming from an alternative schooling method, i.e. homeschooling, will that affect applications? So that's come from the same individual. So no, not necessarily. I only interviewed somebody today that was homeschooled. And so essentially at interview, we would talk about previous qualifications, educational history, that type of thing. And if individuals come with no GCSEs, what we would tend to do is put them through a maths and English assessment. It's an online multiple choice questionnaire, and that would identify their level of working. And then on the basis of that level of working being equivalent to the entry requirements, we can accept them onto programme. But it essentially comes down to that. But no, homeschooling doesn't affect them applying and doesn't affect them getting an apprenticeship. It is clearly about whether they would be capable of achieving the maths and English as part of the apprenticeship programme, as that's a mandatory element of it. And in terms of if they're not local, do they require someone who can drive? Potentially. It depends really on the industry that you're applying for. Some industries, if we were talking sort of about horticulture or agriculture or things like that, sometimes driving is absolutely an added bonus, because they look for people that in the near future, if not already, can drive. But essentially what we do say to candidates or applicants when looking for apprenticeship placements is that they look for businesses that are local to them, because they've got to be able to get to their place of work more often than being able to get to Sparsholt College. So being able to get to a workplace 4 days a week is really important, especially in some of the industries we work with that, can start at 5 o'clock in the morning, 6 o'clock in the morning, 7 o'clock in the morning, when there's no public transport available. So yeah, real consideration has to be taken around where that job is to enable an individual to get that.
And it kind of comes back to what I was mentioning earlier about doing research. We have employers that will approach us, and it could be that if it was, say, a tree surgery apprenticeship, for example, it could be a perfect opportunity, amazing company, but if it's 2 hours or an hour from your home address, like Helen says, how are you going to get there every day? So you do have to be feasible and do have to be realistic about where you can be, and just sort of have a look at your own research and go from that side of things as well to see what is available, and to be realistic about where you can get to and how you can get there every day, because it is a minimum 30 hours a week in apprenticeship. So it's typically 4 full days, and then they'll do 1 day with us typically at college. But dependent on the apprenticeship program, that can vary from a normal day release delivery model or a block release delivery model as well. But we'll discuss all of that at interview stage as well once they've applied. So we can talk about the employment options and the delivery and how the apprenticeship works and how it all is available and what enrollment would look like when you're ready to start.
And we get a lot of questions as well around sort of level of apprenticeship and, how people don't always want to start at level 2 and they want to jump into level 3. It's a funny question really around apprenticeships aren't linked necessarily to academic ability. So when you look at a level 2 apprenticeship, it's not necessarily in line with a full-time level 2 qualification. So apprenticeship levels are always based around the job role. So if it's an entry to industry role, it's going to be at level 2. If it's more of a kind of team leader, supervisory role, it's going to be at level 3. And if it's going to be more of a management role or a research role, then, you're looking at level 4 or above. So, apprenticeships aren't necessarily always linked to a level 2 in terms of academic ability. They are linked more to the job role itself. But each of our apprenticeships do have an entry criteria. At level 3, we do prefer that individuals come with their Maths and English qualification. And what I mean by that is the old grade C or the equivalent grade 4 and above. However, as part of our level 2 and level 3 programs, we offer functional skills in Maths and English alongside that. It's only our higher level apprenticeships that we would expect you to come with your Maths and English. Okay. So we've had another question come in. How old do you have to be to do the vet nursing apprenticeship? Do you want me to take that, James?
Sure.
Is that all right? So essentially, you really need to be 18 to do a veterinary nursing apprenticeship. And actually that is a question we tend to get at our open days. And the reason around that is usually around legislation in terms of administering medicines and things. So what we tend to advise for school leavers who want to become a veterinary nurse is 2 routes. They can either do the level 2 animal care and welfare route, which there's a veterinary care assistant pathway on. And what that does is give you an automatic entry into veterinary nursing on completion. Or you can do the full-time level 2 animal management qualification. Or indeed even the T-level in animal management, which then again gets you direct entry into veterinary nursing once you've done that 15 months to 2-year program, because essentially then you'll be 18 at that point. And what we've done to help map into that is run 2 groups for veterinary nursing. So we run one in September and one in January to support the outcome of those routes. But essentially, in terms of getting a job in a vet practice, essentially you need to be 18 to be able to do that.
With veterinary nursing and our zoo apprenticeship, Keeper and Acrist, they are 2 of our most popular ones, and they're really tough to get employers for. Essentially, both industries are tailored so that they have so many people applying to them, so many people want to do voluntary work and part-time work and just help out, just to get experience as well. That apprenticeships can be quite challenging, but we do offer it. We always run it. We always run full groups in both every year. So by all means, if you are interested in that, do apply directly to them. But it's very, very rare that either a vet practice or a zoo would approach us to say, we're looking for an apprentice, can you take someone on? So on those 2, there are the most popular ones that just the nature of the industry has so many people who sort of go to them. So it's worthwhile doing your research and looking at those places that are available to you. Another question is going about help. Do you help in finding employers if we have exhausted all the contacts locally? So absolutely, we can, and we discussed that at interview stage. So once you've applied, and it was a case of we've been searching for the last 3 months, 4 months, however long, and what sort of contacts you've gone there, then absolutely we can look at who else we might work with or who else we've worked with in the area, and potentially refer them to you. Obviously, it's going to be subject to there actually being apprenticeship available and a job available and a vacancy there. but we absolutely can help, and that's what essentially our roles are. So myself as a liaison officer, we have a set category of subjects and apprenticeships that we will cover. So one of us will be in touch once you've applied to do your interview, and then we'll work with you as part of that. But we also stay with you for the whole duration of your apprenticeship. So if there's any concerns or anything throughout your program, we're monitoring your progress, working with you and the employer to get you through to achieve and succeed. I hope that helps. Next question came in, said, where can I view what apprenticeships are available? So they're all on our college website, sparsholt.ac.uk. If you click on the college, I believe, and then there should be the study options there, and it does say apprenticeships there. If you scroll down, it breaks down every sort of subject area, and you can read into each one. So it should be quite friendly there. Vast majority of our full-time courses that we offer at Sparsholt, and I'd say a bit less at Andover, but certainly the majority, we do offer an apprenticeship for. So it's only the likes of sport, unfortunately, we don't offer at Sparsholt College or Andover campus, and our motor vehicle apprenticeship is delivered at our Andover campus rather than Sparsholt. But majority of apprenticeships there, where there is a full-time course offer, there is an apprenticeship offer as well. But by all means, have a look on the website or come along to one of our open days, see all the different options available, and sort of think about which one takes your fancy.
Mm-hmm. And I think if it's a particular apprenticeship that we don't offer as Sparsholt College Group, there is a website nationally that you can look on, which is Find an Apprenticeship, and Find an Apprenticeship Training Provider. And what that does is it lists all of the apprenticeships, and then you can click on the one that you're interested in, put in your postcode, and then it tells you the nearest training provider to that postcode. So there's lots of resources out there in terms of investigating apprenticeships if it isn't something we particularly specialise in here. And also there's a website, the Institute for Apprenticeships, that also gives you an entire list of all of the apprenticeship standards that are available. But like I say, to find a training provider that offers a particular one, the Find an Apprenticeship Training Provider website works quite well. Okay, so another question we've got come in. What's the difference between an apprenticeship and a T-level? Really good question, really good question. So essentially, a T-level is in reverse to an apprenticeship. So an apprenticeship is paid employment, and it has to be paid employment, with a qualification linked alongside it to practice that professional skill and get that qualification linked to that professional skill within an apprenticeship. So you would do a bit like James described earlier, 4 days in the workplace, 1 day at college. So a T-level is a bit reverse to that. So you're doing a full-time qualification. So you're coming into college 3 or 4 days a week and then doing an industry work placement that's linked to that over 2 years. So the way sometimes I look at it is an apprenticeship route is the route for the individual that really wants to go into paid work immediately after, leaving school, essentially, or wants a career change as an adult. Whereas a T-level is probably linked more to an individual that might want to go to university and not do an apprenticeship. So they're really the only two main differences. An apprenticeship is almost in reverse to what a T-level is, and a T-level is essentially a full-time educational route with an industry placement attached to it. I hope that answers your question. So what I'll do, I think we've cleared all the questions for now. So we're just going to play a video. So we played the employer aspect of the golf greenkeeping video, and we're now going to play the the apprentices part of that video. So we'll run that. And if you've got any questions in the meantime, please submit them and we'll answer them after.
My name is Daniel Parker and I'm a greenkeeper at Knighton Heath Golf Club, currently doing my level 2 in golf greenkeeping at Sparsholt College. I chose to become an apprentice because of the wonderful opportunities and experiences that I can do. It's wonderful being able to learn in the classroom and then put the things that I learn actually into practice and do them on the golf course and in my workplace. I emailed probably 15 or so golf clubs looking for work, and Graham at Knighton Heath emailed me back. Sparsholt basically helped us to get the apprenticeship starting. So it's a day at college a week. So for me, it's a Wednesday. We can do all sorts of things at college. We sometimes do practicals. Probably a big highlight is the experiences that you get and speaking to lots of different people. So we've had 2 or 3 reps from companies come in and give us talks. So it's good to sort of be able to speak to the experts.
Okay, so that was just a brief little video there. So we haven't had any other questions be popped into the chat just yet, but is there anything else, James, that you think we should mention today that we haven't mentioned so far?
I think that obviously from a parent perspective, it's if your kids and children are interested, then by all means come along to one of our open days. If you're thinking, how does apprenticeship work? We definitely want to do this subject, whether that be animal management or arboriculture, tree surgery, or horticulture and grounds maintenance, and you think I want to sort of know a bit more about this, I think an apprenticeship might be better suited to my child, then absolutely just apply for the course. Have a look at the website. You can apply online via our website as well. It is a different process to the full-time side of things, so the full-time course. So just be aware, if you have already applied for the full-time course, you're thinking actually the apprenticeship might be a better suit, you do unfortunately need to reapply. It is different funding bands, there's different sort of funding bodies that do our full-time delivery and apprenticeships, but it's a very straightforward application form. Submit it in to us, send it in, and then we'll be in touch and we'll let you know about the process, and we can work with you on that and give you all the information that you might need. Certainly when we do our interviews as well, it's not just necessarily one-to-one with the student. Any 16-year-old, 17-year-old school leavers that are under 18, parents are more than welcome to sit in on it as well. And yeah, all the details are on our website for apprenticeship information. So do take a look and do let us know if there's any how we can help, or if there's any sort of questions that you think, is this going to be a good option? Is it not? I'm not too sure about this. How does this work? Just let us know. Do get in touch, because we'll be doing plenty of stuff all week for National Apprenticeship Week. So hopefully we'll cover some of the questions throughout that, but we're certainly going to be available. Another question has come in and just said about, can you get an apprenticeship through Sparsholt as a secondary school leaver? Absolutely. I'd say majority of our students, probably 50-50. I'd say it's between school leavers that have just finished their secondary education, as well as learners that are a bit older. We have mature students. I've got apprentices who are in their mid-30s doing apprenticeships, who have changed career and gone down a new path now. And so, yeah, absolutely. Apprenticeships are open to anyone age 16 and above. And again, if you don't have those English and maths qualifications yet, or you haven't done your GCSEs yet, that's absolutely fine. We'll still interview you. We'll still run through the process. And Helen mentioned earlier about the English and maths assessments that we do at interview, and we talk you all about for them as well, how they work and everything. Cool.
Yeah, so I was just thinking, because we have quite a few year really A-level individuals that have they've left school, they've gone and done their A-levels, and then they've decided to take a different route and have then kind of transferred into apprenticeships. We've done that, and every year we also have a couple of students that might start full-time with ourselves and then transfer into an apprenticeship during that process too. So I think that there are lots of different options available to you depending on your background, your age, and all those types of things. So yeah, so we're kind of coming to the end really of our 30-minute slot, but before ending, we've got a couple of new developments in terms of programs that we're going to be running from the summer term. So we're going to be introducing a new degree apprenticeship, and that's level 4 assistant farm manager. So that's for individuals assisting the farm manager with the day-to-day activity. So that's a new degree apprenticeship. We're currently looking and still writing the master's degree in ecology. So there's an ecologist apprenticeship likely to be released in the next year or so. So there's lots of new developments on the horizon that are coming out in our prospectuses. So keep an eye on those. And unless there's any future... Oh, we had another question come in. What happens if you don't have any GCSEs? Again, I briefly mentioned that at the beginning of the session in one of the other questions. Is what we do is we interview all our individuals, and if there are individuals that come without any GCSEs or maths and English specifically, then we run them through an initial assessment in maths and English to understand their level of ability. And then if the level of ability is okay, in line with entry requirements, that individual would sit maths and English and functional skills as part of their apprenticeship programme. So not having their GCSEs doesn't prevent them from doing an apprenticeship. However, it might mean that they have to do maths and English and functional skills as part of their apprenticeship. Okay. And I think that's all the questions, isn't it, James?
Yep.
Have I missed any? So I think we'll end the session there. And thank you so much for joining our question and answer session on apprenticeships for parents. And like James mentioned, it's National Apprenticeship Week this week. So we're all around this week, like we are most weeks, but particularly this week, in the sense of any questions or applications that anybody has. Our direct email address is apprenticeships@sparsholt.ac.uk. So that's apprenticeships@sparsholt.ac.uk. So any questions you have at any point, please do send them in via email, and we will endeavour to respond to those as quickly as possible. But thank you so much for joining tonight, and have a good rest of your evening and rest of your week. All right, bye.